Welcome dear students to the second part of our chapter Services of Internet. In the previous part, in part 1, we have studied about the introduction of Internet, what is Internet and the different terms related to the Internet. So let us start today's class. So protecting yourself on the web. Today we are using the internet extensively. Most of the personal information like our bank account, credit card number is over the internet. So protecting yourself means understanding and preventing a number of security and privacy problems. These include problems with spyware, viruses, pop-up ads, safe passwords, cookies and insecure sites. So let us see what are they. So first is spyware. What is spyware? It is a software program and it gets installed on your computer without even your knowledge or consent. So this does not require any permission because it is not a legal program. This program secretly gathers all your data from your computer and steals your password. It displays advertisements and takes all the control of your web browser. And to remove spyware, you have to install a anti-spyware program. Our next security threat is viruses. Viruses are programs which are created deliberately to damage data. And a virus can badly affect or infect your computer. They are created intentionally so that your data or your system is affected or gets damaged. Once a virus is in your computer, your files or your operating system might get damaged. Some of the viruses are harmless. They just reduce the speed of your system, or they just display a message and irritate you. But most of the viruses are very harmful. And to block virus or remove virus, you need to install an antivirus program. Now, next security threat is pop-up ads. You might have seen these type of congratulatory ads that you have won a computer or a mobile phone, or an alert like that your computer or your phone is infected with a virus. So these are called as pop-up ads and they disturb you while browsing. These are irritating and they might also be dangerous because clicking items in the pop-up window can cause spyware or viruses to be installed on your computer system. And you can use a pop-up blocker to block these pop-up ads in the browser. There is an option to block these pop-up ads, and through this is the only option to block these ads. Now next security threat is saved passwords. So when you add a username or password to log into a particular website, the Internet Explorer or Firefox sometimes displays a message that offers to remember the password you have written, like this. A saved password, you want to save username and password, and this is highlighted. You have to click on this. If you click on yes and then access the website in future, the web browser bypasses the login page and takes you directly to the site. But unfortunately, this also means that anyone else who is using your computer can access the site, and it can be a security threat to your personal information on the internet. So our suggestion is to never ever save passwords. Do not click on save but click on never button. So the next one is cookies. What are cookies? They are small text messages that a web browser stores on your computer to keep a track of the websites you visited. And cookies can also store your name, username and password as well as your credit card data. So if possible, tell the site not to save this data. Here you can block the cookies like this. In the internet option, you can go to the internet option, and in the privacy setting you can block all cookies here, or in the internet option, in the general menu, you can choose to delete cookies time to time. So in regular intervals, delete the cookies that are there in your phone or in your computer system. Most of the modern browsers allow user to decide whether to accept cookies and the time frame to keep them, but rejecting cookies makes some websites unreadable and you have to on or accept the cookies for those sites. So now there is another way, the secure site indicators. These whenever we are visiting, how can we conclude that the particular site that we are visiting is a secure site or not? So for that, there are certain indicators which are called as secure site indicators. Like, firstly, in the address bar, if it is green colored, either the text is green or the background is green, then that suggests that the site is secure site. Secondly, if a lock or a key icon is there, then also it suggests that the particular site is a secure site. And thirdly, the symbol HTTPS, if in the address bar or URL instead of HTTP, HTTPS is written, that means the site is more secure. S stands for secure. And sometimes the web browsers display a dialog box that alerts you to the fact that you are viewing a web page that is completely secure or unsecure. So by following these instructions, by the different secure site indicators, you can save your personal information from different privacy threats. Now let us discuss about the different services of the internet in detail. So first is entertainment on the web. The internet also provides a lot of entertainment for you. You can download music, tune into the internet-based radio station, listen to streaming audio. You can also see photos, view streaming videos, watch movies on YouTube, etc. So there are digital music files, MP3s, online music stores, online music services for your entertainment. I wanted to tell you about MP3. MP3 is Motion Picture Experts Group Audio Level 3, and it is most popular music file format. Why? Because it is more compressed. It takes lesser amount of storage. Why? Because all the extraneous sound is removed. Extraneous sound which is not normally detected by human ear is removed, and this results in high quality of music files, and the size is almost 1/10 of the original file, and it makes downloading and storing of the digital audio storing of these audio files easier and more and faster. You can listen to music on the internet, and you can stream media also. What is streaming media? Streaming media refers to audio or video data broadcast continuously from a website. Unlike a digital audio or video file, you cannot save a media stream on your computer's hard disk for later playback. It is like a television broadcast. In television, you are watching a TV serial or a news. So in the same manner, when media is streaming, that means it is broadcasting live and you cannot save it for playback later. There is internet radio and YouTube for entertainment on the web also. Now the second service of internet is sharing photos on the web, which is very popular today. You can share your digital photographs with your friends, your family, and you can enable tagging, commenting by the other people. And while deciding which photo sharing site to use, we generally consider how much storage space you are getting on the site, because most of the site they give a free account and a particular amount of storage, free storage to the users. And then if you want to share more photographs, then you have to purchase the membership by paying a fees to that particular website or the web app, like the Flickr and Picasa web album. They are the most popular photo sharing sites on the web. The Flickr, it gives the 1000 GBs of photo sharing for its free account users, and above that you have to pay a certain fee, while Picasa gives 1 GB of storage space to its free account holders. Now the next internet service is the web app, which is an application stored on a web server that you can access through a browser. You can interact with these web apps directly at a website, sometimes referred to as the host. And these are generally, you can store your data and information in the cloud storage. So the term web application itself makes the things clear. It is just like any other software or mobile application. The web app is like any other software which operates using the internet, and it can be used in the browsers, but they provide more functions and features. We use a number of web apps every day, like the Gmail, the Google Drive, Facebook, LinkedIn. All these are different web apps. Now the next service provided by the internet is the social networking, which enables you to connect with people who share similar professional or personal interest. Here, the members are connected to each other as friends, friends of friends, and so on. And if you are interested in participating in these type of social networking sites, you should understand what social networking is all about. The main goal of using social networking site is to keep a track of what is going on in the lives of your friends, your families, especially the people whom you do not meet regularly. And it also helps us to expand the circle of friends and the business contacts. One of the most popular social networking sites are Facebook and MySpace. Our next service of internet is blogging. So blogs, which are also called as web blogs, it is an exciting and dynamic medium by which you can publish your ideas, opinions, and stories online. There are a number of millions of blogs available on internet. You can read what others have published and you can publish your own blog. Most blogs focus on a particular topic or subject area, although in a majority of blogs, the subject is the person writing the blog. And the entries that appear on a blog are called as post. And what is posting? The act of publishing a blog is called as posting. So, what is a post? The entry that is in that appears on the blog is called as the post, and the act of publishing a blog is called as posting, and the person who maintains many blogs is called as a blogger. So there are a number of blogging sites also, like the Blogger, Typepad, Twitter, etc. Now the WhatsApp Messenger. WhatsApp Messenger is a mobile messaging app which is available for smartphones. This WhatsApp uses your internet connection to message and call friends and family. You can send and receive messages, calls, photos, videos, and voice messages also. You can group chat with your contacts. You can even video call your friends and family. You can also send and receive WhatsApp messages from your computer's browsers. Video conferencing. This is also an important service of the internet. What is video conferencing? It is a meeting between two or more geographically separated people who use a network or the internet to transmit audio and video data. That means it is a meeting between people who are not sitting in the same room. They are geographically separated. They are at different locations, but with the use of audio and video, they can communicate with each other. And for a video conferencing, we need a software like the Skype or your WhatsApp. We can video conference on WhatsApp also. There are a number of other softwares like Zoom and Google Meet, and we require a multimedia computer along with a microphone, speakers, and a video camera attached or built in a computer. So these are the requirements for video conferencing. Students, there's a term used in internet, that is FTP. The full form of FTP is File Transfer Protocol, and it is an internet standard that permits file uploading and downloading to and from other computers or on the internet. So FTP permits the uploading or downloading of any file on the internet. So what is uploading? The process of transferring files from your computer to the internet is uploading. And what is downloading? The process of transferring files from the internet, from a server on the internet to your computer is called as downloading, and it is facilitated by the File Transfer Protocol. An FTP server is a computer that allows user to upload or download files using FTP. Web page developers, for example, often use FTP to upload their web page to a web server. The next service of internet is the e-commerce or the electronic commerce, which can also be called as e-business. Is a financial business transaction that occurs over an electronic network, or in simple words we can say online shopping. And anyone with a computer connected with internet and a mean to pay like credit card or debit card for purchasing goods or services can participate in e-commerce. Yes, of course, we can pay cash on delivery also. There are thousands of websites devoted to online shopping. Can you tell me a few sites? Correct. Amazon, Flipkart, Paytm. There are a number of websites. And the popular uses of e-commerce are in shopping, auctions, finance, travel, entertainment, and health also. There are three types of e-commerce. Business to consumer. When a business firm sells its products directly to the consumer, then it is called as B2C type of e-commerce, and it includes the shopping websites. The second is consumer to consumer e-commerce. When one consumer sells the product directly to the another, then it is called as C2C type of e-commerce, and it includes online auction. And the example of this type of e-commerce is the OLX. And the third model of e-commerce is business to business. When the e-commerce occurs between businesses, provides goods and services to other business. One business providing its services to the other business, such as online advertising, recruiting, credit, sales, market research, technical support and training, then it is business to business type of e-commerce. So these were the few of the services of the internet. There are a number of other services of the internet, but we will discuss these many services only. Now I wanted to tell you that what is a digital security risk. So what is a digital security risk? Any event or any action that could cause a loss of or damage to your computer or mobile device. Either it can be a hardware, software, the data inside your computer, or information, or its processing capability is called as digital security risk. So what is digital security risk? If the data, the information, the hardware, the software, or the processing capability, that is speed of your computer, decreases or damages, then it is called as digital security risk. There is another term, the cybercrime. So what is cybercrime? It refers to online or internet based illegal act such as distributing viruses or committing identity theft is called as cybercrime. There is another term, computer crime. We often confuse computer crime and cybercrime. So what is computer crime? Any illegal act in which computer is used, then it will be called as computer crime. But in cybercrime, use of internet is there. It is a type of computer crime. Cybercrime is a type of computer crime in which internet is used, then it is called as cybercrime. Now I wanted to tell you one more information, that internet began as a small project named ARPANET, which eventually evolved into the internet that we use today. So this was all about the chapter Services of the Internet. I hope you have understood the chapter properly. So in the next part of the video, we will discuss the question answers of this chapter. Thank you, students.